Fine, let's start, guys. So yesterday we have seen what we have seen the functions, lambda function, right? So yesterday we have covered lambda function and where did we try to use that? Map, filter, and reduce, right? So fine. So today we are going to see a new concept called as variables, local global variables. Okay. So, if we have gone through the class yesterday, are we good with that? Any doubts in uh, map, filter, reduce? Okay, looks like we are good. Yeah, so just to revise, what will happen in the map? Map will try to map the given sequence into a new numbers. That means it will operate and it will try to come up with a new set of sequence. Okay, and coming to filter, filter what it will do from the given sequence, it will try to filter down all the elements which are matching with some condition given. Okay, so one filter output could be this, another filtered output could be this, like that. Okay, it will just filter down from the given sequence itself. Okay, and what does reduce do? Reduce will reduce the complete set of sequence into one element. So here the complete set is range of 1 to 11 I'm giving. It will try to do the sum of all the numbers, okay, into one number. It will completely reduce. That's why it's called reduce. And one note you need to keep in mind is reduce is not directly available in Python. You need to install it from, sorry, import it from function tools called as func tools module. Okay, from that you need to import this function. Okay, and in all these three there is one thing common. What was that? All these three will expect just two things. One is function, another thing is sequence. So in place of function, mostly we use lambda function. Okay, or if you want, you can go for a standard function also, or if it is a small purpose, then you can go for a lambda function. Okay, map with lambda, filter with lambda, okay, and reduce with lambda. Fine. So I think you are good with the with these concepts. Okay, fine. Next we are going to see some new concept called as local global variable. Okay, so this needs a bit of attention, guys, because if you lose track, right, this could be slightly confusing. Okay, so let's be focused. Okay, fine. See, first of all, what happens over here is in Python there are two types of variables. Okay, there are two types of variables. One is global variable and another thing is local variable. Okay, so first let's see. So first, let's try to slowly understand the concept over here. Okay, see, for example, I am saying some number equal to 100. Okay, after that I'm doing print 100. Okay? After that I'm saying define some function f. Okay, and Inside that, I'm saying inside of number. Okay. Now again, okay. So now if I print this, so guys be interactive, okay. uh, Start giving answers. So if I just run this, what will be the output?
And 100.
Hmm?
100, sir.
Sorry, 100,
100, 100.
100, 200s. Okay, now come on, say I'll ask questions only from the covered concepts, so in which you said you have no doubts, so just give it a guess.
100 inside of 100, 100.
100 inside of 100, 100. Okay, perfect. Okay, fine. So now the point here is we have defined 100 over here. Okay, what outside the function we have defined, fine. And but we are trying to use it inside the function. Okay, still it is able to access that variable. Okay, why? Because any all variables, okay, which are not defined inside any functions are by default global variables. That means they are available for all functions. Okay, that's why you are able to use the variable over here. Cool. Now what will be the value? What will be the outputs? It will be 100, okay, inside of 200 and 100. Okay, see, 100, after that once it come, right, so it goes, it executes, interpret executes line by line. Okay, so initially it will print 100, then after that it will not, it will just see, okay, the function is defined, but this function will be called only when someone is calling it. Okay, this will be triggered only if you have a calling function. Okay, so at 7 you have calling function, so after once it comes to 7, then it goes inside it. Okay, it sees number is 200, right? Now it is printing f 200, fine, that's done. Once it comes out, we are printing again number. Okay, we got 100. Okay, so observe here, same variable num, outside it I'm having 100. Okay, once you go inside it, I'm creating num equal to 100, so it's printing this is 200. Okay, here it is 100. Okay, once it is coming out after this 7, from 7 where the control will go? 4. See, actually how will the control? 1, 2, 3. After that it will just define the function. Okay, it will not enter it, it will go to next after 7. From 7 it will again go back to 4, 5, 6. Okay, after that 8. Okay, that will be the flow. So now inside this function I'm defining num equal to 200, so it is printing inside of 200. Okay, fine. But after it is coming out the function, okay, again the num will be 100, whatever it is having the global value. Because any variable, any variable that is defined inside a function will not have a global scope, it will have only local scope. Okay, so these are new terms, right? The scope of now what we're trying to essentially learn here is what are the scope of the variables. That means till now we understood there are variables where we can define, that's fine. But when we are having a function, right, if you're not using function, it is straightforward. Okay, if you're not having a functions in your code, so that means what we are writing, even if you want 1,000 lines also, you're writing line 1, line 2, line 3, like that 1,000 lines you're writing. Okay, so obviously, right, if you define any variable, it is available throughout the code. Okay, but that's not the way we practically write, right? So we go for the modular programming. That means we write functions, we write a lot of functions. So when function is actually giving us a specific purpose, right, so then we need to understand what is the scope of the variables of when we define them inside the function, when we define them outside the function, right? So the point here is, if you are defining a variable outside the function, the scope of this variable, scope means what, where all we can access it, right? That is a scope. So if I'm defining a number, any variable outside the function, its scope will be global. Okay, that means what, it is globally available. That means globally means throughout the code. Fine. But any variable that is defined inside a function, right, like this, inside a function, its scope is local. Okay, its scope is local. That means what, it can be accessible only inside the function, right? Only as long as the control is inside this function, it will remember that value. Okay, 200. Once it comes outside the function, okay, this local scope will not be available anymore. Okay, so then again the num will have, okay, again the num will have its global value only, whatever it is defined as a global value. That's why you're seeing 100 inside, 200 again coming out 100. Did you get this, guys? Okay, I'm going slowly because there's like different concepts involved here, small concepts but little interrelated concepts, right? So just to not get confused, I'm going a bit slowly. So let me know, let's take each step at a time. So are we good till now?
Yes.
Okay, so now this we are good. But now what happens, we have seen that if I'm able to define a variable outside the function, I'm able to use it inside the function also. So if I just comment it out, I'm just defining outside the function, I can use it inside the function also. Okay, second thing is what, I can also create a new variable inside the function so that its scope will be local scope. That means it is available only in that function. Okay, that is also fine. But now what I will do, I'll just comment out this. Okay, and I will just define a function, define num only inside the function. Okay, and if I try to print it outside the function, okay, so okay, I think it's taking the value. Okay, let me go for num1. Okay, num1 equal to 200. I also want to print num1, also print num1. Okay, see, now actually earlier when I printed num, it gave value because Python interpreter will remember the variables. Okay, so as long as the notebook is running, it will remember the variables and it will give, if there is some value available in the num variable, it will give. But actually, according to this function, that is not correct, right? So this is an issue you guys also might face sometimes, right? So so what was the issue was, so if I print num, okay, actually for this purpose, if you see there is no num defined, right? Where is num? Num I did not define anywhere, this is commented. So actually this should give error, right? But still it is giving 100 because before this example, num as defined num as 100, right? So Python interpreter will remember the variables. Okay, it will have variables, and if I'm asking for num, if there is any value stored in the backend, so it will just give that 100. Okay, but actually it is wrong in this context, right? So that is an issue I faced when I was initially working in the starting days. You might also face that, right? So if you are facing that, just what you need to do is just you need to go kernel, restart and clear output. Okay, if you do that, you will lose all the outputs and the memory will be erased and you will get the perfect answer. Okay, just in case, because I faced a lot of times. Okay, I'm guessing you guys also might face, because we always go to and fro, right? We write suppose we write this function, then we'll come back and again we change this. So a lot of changes will be happening when you are developing. So in that case, you will create a lot of variables and Python interpreter automatically starts remembering all those. Okay, and it might give you some value, even actually if it is not having that value currently, but even if it is having the value previously like 2 3 steps before, still it will try to give. Okay, that might be a bit confusing. Okay, so just you can do kernel clear output, then you will get perfect answer. Okay, fine. So coming back to this point. So now if I say num1, okay, so what's in, I am saying num1 200 inside the function. Okay, that is printing num1 inside function 200. But after that, coming out of the function, if you're trying to print the same, it's saying num1 is not defined. Okay, that means what? That means what? Here, global variable can be used even inside a function. Okay, in the first example, but local variable cannot be used outside the function, right? So what is this num1? Num1 is a local variable because it is defined inside a function, right? So its scope will be only until this function. Okay, it cannot be used outside the function. See, outside the function there is no num1, so that's why it is saying. So interpreter will not know what is the value of num1, because the moment it comes out of this function, okay, this function body, it will forget all the variables that are defined inside that function. Okay, and next same thing, if it enters another function, see function, there are some variables, function 1 some variables, function 2 some variables. So once it enters this function, it will remember only these variables. Once it comes out, it forgets all everything about this, and again it enters this, it will remember only these variables. Same thing, only this way coming out, it will forget about it. Okay, so that's why here, if you are able to see here, num1 I am defining outside the function, so it is saying number not defined. So that's why local variable cannot be used, okay, not used, accessed, okay, outside the function. Okay, fine. Now, but yeah, this is one thing. Okay, so one more important thing is when I'm doing this, okay, I'm getting this. What is num1? Okay, so if I do num, no, this is fine. So now if I, so for example, even if I change also, I'm getting this. Okay, that's fine. So, but if I try to, okay, I will say num equal to num plus 500. Okay, so come on, guys. Now, guess what will be the value of outputs? Fast, fast. Come on, give it a guess. Simple, simple code. No, no, nothing difficulty.
100 inside of 600. 100.
Okay, 100. Just writing value 600, 100. Okay. So now if I run this, okay, you got an error. What it is saying? Local variable num reference before assignment. Okay. So what happens over here is, here you are trying to change num. Okay, what we are changing, but num is defined where? It is defined globally. Okay, and we are trying to change it locally. Okay, so that is not possible. So now next important point here is, the point you need to learn here is, global variables, okay, cannot be changed locally. Understood? So this num is not defined inside this function. Okay, this num is not defined, right? So in other words, okay, in other words, A variable, okay, a variable or a function can use a global variable but cannot edit it. Okay, this is correct. Okay, global variables cannot change locally, or a function can use a global variable but cannot edit it. Okay, so here this function, this num is a global variable, right? So it can use it. If you want to print it earlier, it is printing. Okay, but if you want to change it, you cannot change it. Okay, why? Because a function can use only global variable. Okay, a function can only use global variable, it cannot edit it. Okay.
So Sandesh, if you use num1 or any other variable, then it will work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a new
Yeah,
variable?
I'm coming. So if you see, so this is clear, right? So you cannot say, but if you come inside, okay, if you come inside, if I say num equal to 200, okay, if I do this, right, I'm defining it. I'm defining inside the function. That means what? It became a local variable, right? So now, now you see, now this is 100. After that, inside the function, I'm actually define this. So now as long as the control is inside this function, num is local variable, not global. Why? Because there is a definition over here. Okay, there is some value assignment happening inside the function. Okay, now num is local. Okay, but here num is global. Okay, and outside also num is global. Only inside the function it is local. Why? Because I have again added, that means did some value assignment. Okay, I have said num equal to 200. Fine. So now inside this function num is 200. Okay, num is 200, and you are trying to change that. That is possible because the function only actually created this value, right? The function only added this variable, so it can change it. Okay, it will change 700, it will become 700. Okay, but this num is valid only inside this function as long as the control is inside the function. Okay, but once it comes out again, it will not remember this num, it will remember only this 100. Okay, same concept, but only thing is a function can edit a variable only if it creates it in the first place. Okay, అది క్రియేట్ చేసిన వేరియబుల్స్ మాత్రమే అది ఎడిట్ చేయగలుగుతుంది. ఓకే, గ్లోబల్ గా ఉన్న వేరియబుల్స్ అది ఓన్లీ యూజ్ చేసుకోగలుగుతుంది, అది ఎడిట్ చేయలేదు. Okay, so that's why if I comment this out, okay, there is no variable getting created, num variable getting created inside the function, so that's why you cannot edit the function. Okay, that's why it will give an error. Okay, but if at all you are creating a variable, you can edit it, and this num, whatever is happening over here, is different from this num. Okay, why? As long as the control is here, it will remember only this num. Whatever you do, it will perform, it will give you the value, but the moment it comes out, the value is again goes back to the global num 700. Right? Are we good, guys? One more concept. Okay, initially we have seen global variable, next we have seen local variable, next we have seen global variable can be accessed anywhere, but local variable, sorry, locally you can use the global value, but you cannot edit it. Clear till this point? Any doubts? Karthik, is that your doubt?
Yeah, clear, Sandesh.
Okay, fine. So after that, now there is one more point. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we can only access global variable inside the function. Okay, changing global variable from inside the function. Okay, local variable can be accessed only in function nested function. Okay, change the value global variable effect even outside. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, but fine. So now if you see here, okay, now let me take the same function. Okay, I'm putting it over here. Now what was the problem we are facing here? The problem we faced here is we are not able to we are not able to edit the variable inside the function, right? We are not able to edit the variable inside the function. From inside the function we are not able to do that, right? So what we can do here is to declare a variable. Okay, to declare a variable as global, we use the global keyword. Okay, we use the global keyword. So now we are trying to study. Till now we have just seen global variables and local variables. Okay, they're by default. We don't need to use any keyword. Agree? We don't need to use any keyword, because if you define any variable outside the function, it is by default global. No need to specifically mention. And if you define any variable inside a function, it's by default local. You don't need to mention. Okay. But now the concept here is I want to create a global variable inside a function. Okay. I want to create, because inside the function, whatever you create, that will be automatically local to that function. Okay, we have seen. But now my task is to create a global variable inside the function, not outside the function, because outside the function anyhow it's already global. If you just say num100, it is available throughout the code, it's automatically global. But if I want to create a global variable inside the function, okay, so then you need to go for the global keyword. Okay, you see turning into green color. So you need to go for the global key word. Okay, now here the global keyword. So how to define any variable as a global variable? Okay, from inside the function. Fine, so you can do simply use global and just create, give that variable name. That's it. You can just say global num. Now what happens? Okay, if you see, I'm creating a variable outside the function, and then I'm declaring that num as global inside the function. Okay, and some function definition is happening. Okay, and then what's happening? Okay, so yeah, now see, now observe here. Initially we got 100, that's fine. After that it will enter the function. Then now here I'm declaring global number as global. Okay, after that num is 200, now num is 700. Inside f700 it will print. Okay, but earlier when you see here also 100, here also 700. Okay, in earlier example, after that once it is coming out, okay, it again became 100. As you can see, it again became 100 because it will not remember. But now here you are declaring this number as global. That means whatever changes that are happening to this variable inside the function, that will also affect outside the function. Why? Because now this variable is no longer local, it has become global. How? I'm using global keyword. That means by using global keyword, you can declare a variable as a global variable even though it is defined inside the function. And if you are changing some value inside that function, that will have an effect outside the function also, because now it became a global variable. So that's why initially it's not global. Okay, the point here is there are three stages. Initially when the code is starting here, it's not, sorry, it's global. Okay, so obviously when I'm declaring outside, it's global 100. Okay, but once I'm coming inside this num, okay, now I am declaring it as global. If I don't do this, it will become local. When I'm doing global, it will automatically become global, and now it becomes 700. Okay, this is fine till here, it's same. But the important point is, since I am doing it as global, outside the function also you can see the value 700, same 700. Is it clear, guys? Guys, clear? Any doubts?
Yes, Sandesh.
Clear.
Okay, cool. Now um yeah, so if I, okay, there are two more points. Okay, so now if I just, let's see, if I just do this. num0 num okay, 100 okay, same thing. So even if I don't define a value inside also, initially it's printing 100, the same value, since here it is becoming global, so 100 it will put over here, so it becomes 600, then same value outside also it will have 600. Okay, so that's one concept. After that if you, let's say you are having function f1, okay, function f1 you are having, okay, inside that I am saying a equal to 100, okay, inside that I am saying a equal to 100, then I am saying print a, okay, then after that if I say function f2, okay, and inside this I am saying print a, okay. Now if I run this, what will the output guys? Okay, so this is f2, okay. First if I run this, what will be the output? Come on. Fast.
Oh, but we are not calling the function.
Correct. Okay. Perfect. So if I say f1, f2, now
100 error.
right, okay. No, I think a, did we define anywhere else? Okay, so let's go for a. Right. So as I said, right, so actually that should error, but a I think earlier we have defined somewhere in the notebook above, so that's why it is taking a from there. Okay, so if you are getting confused, so always go for a new variable, or you can go for the kernel clear output. Okay, so let me go for new, so that's perfect. So a 100 and error, because as I said, this a is a local variable for this function, okay, and for this, and that cannot be accessed from any other function, okay, so that's why you are getting this. Okay, for example, let me say uh, zz equal to 100, okay, and inside that zz equal to, I'm saying 10, okay, I'm printing zz, I'm printing zz, okay. Now okay, see, now if you see zz is 100, and after that inside this, it will first, I'm calling f1, so it will print zz, it is 10, okay, and this is local, and after that it is entering this function, but here we don't have any zz defined inside this function, okay. So then what it will take, it will take the global value, that's why it's taking 100. Clear? Now if I say global z, okay, see now what's happening, initially 100, after that it is entering, I'm declaring that z as zz as global, okay. That means what, when I say global, the effect will be available throughout the code, that's why it's global. After that I'm saying z equal to 10, so it's printing 10, okay. But now after that when it is entering this, still the value will be 10, okay, still the value is 10, okay. Because why? Because it is a now it became a global variable, okay, or became a global variable, so obviously it will have the same value across all the functions, even though it is not defined here. Getting this example, did you get this? See, now you see, now it's 100, okay. So if you want, I will just print 100 also here. See, initially it's 100, okay, here. After that it is entering f1, okay, here I'm declaring a global zz, and now it is 10 here, okay, that's why it is 10. After that what happening, f2, it is entering f2, here f2, even though z is I have declared it as global, but here there is again some value getting assigned, okay. So if a value getting assigned, so obviously as long as the control is in this function, it will take only that value. Okay, remember, because in normal function also, if I just say a equal to 10, and if I say define some function inside that, if I say a equal to 20, okay, now if I say a equal to 10 outside the function, obviously this is a global variable, right? So as I said, outside the function you don't need to explicitly again write global, because if you're defining something outside, it's automatically global. Okay, so even if this is a global variable, but if you print here, that will be 10. Okay, but after entering the function, a is 20. If I print here, a will be 20. Even though a is global, if there is some value getting assigned, it will take that value. Till when? Till as long as it is in this function. Once it's coming outside, it will be again 10, going back to the its value. Similarly here also, initially it's 100, after that z is becoming global and it is becoming 10. Okay, that is fine. And once it is entering f2, even though z is global, but here there is some value getting assigned. So if it is value getting assigned, obviously it should take that new value. So that's why it is taking z equal to 20. Okay, that's fine. But this 20 is available, is only valid till this function scope. Which function scope? F2 function scope. Okay, because this value is getting created only in this f2. Okay, so now this is done. But again, when I'm coming out of this f2 line next here, so now outside this, again this will take the global z. Okay, what is global z? Global z is 10. Okay, not 100. Don't think it's 100, because if this global is not there, then it will take 100. But somewhere here it is becoming global. After becoming global, what is the value we are giving? 10 we are giving. Okay, so now the value will be 10 throughout the code, except if there are any value assignments. Okay, if there are only a value assignments in some functions, it will take that new value. Otherwise it will take this global value. Okay, so that's why it's taking, as you can see, 10 value getting assigned. So it is changing for that function, again coming back 10. Okay, or else if I want to show you more clearly, right, I'll say print in f1, f2, f3. Okay, this is first, this is last. Okay, okay, see, initially first 100, fine. Next calling f1, going here, now it is becoming global. Okay, here it is becoming global. That's why now z is 10, printing f1 10, f1 10. Okay, now once it has become global, this value will be 10. Okay, global, after becoming global, it is having 10. So once it is 10, this value will be 10 throughout the code. Even if you have 1000 lines of code, it will be 10 throughout the code only, except if there are any value assignments are happening only in that scope, the value might change. But once it is come out of that scope, again the value will be coming back to 10. Okay, if again some value assignment, change it till that particular scope, again coming out, value will be again 10. Okay, so now if you see here, it is 10. After that, I'm calling f2, going inside here, some value assignment is happening. Okay, that's why in this scope, if I print f2, it is 10, sorry, 20 is getting assigned. Okay, f2 20. After that, f3, now here f3, once it's coming outside out of this, so it will be again, it will take the global value 10. Okay, now f3, inside this f3, here there is no value assignment is happening, so obviously it should go for the global value, that is 10. Okay, now f3 is 10. Okay, done. And after that, when it's coming out last, here also it will take the global value. So we're all always throughout the code, it will take the global value only 10 10, but only except if there are only specifically we're assigning a value in that scope, it will go for the 20. Okay, so that is how you can create a global variable from inside a function. Okay, and which can be used throughout the code. Okay, is this clear, guys, or is it confusing anywhere? Just let me know.
Clear.
Okay, perfect. So now once we understand this, right, yeah, there is one more concept. Okay, Right, right. So as I said, this is like might be small concept, but a lot of interrelated concepts. So I suggest for this class, right, go through the class once again, okay, and just make a notes, so that now you will remember. But even I also forget this. I also need to revise once. Okay, now you will remember like what will the scope if I define inside this, what will happen, define outside this, what will happen. So just make your own notes, right, and then you will never forget. Okay. Now there is one more concept. Okay, for example, if I have a equal to 10, okay, and if I say define f1, okay, okay, oh, what did the concept we learn here? Okay, I want to just make a note over here. Okay, what are the concept we learn? We can create a global variable from a from inside a function, okay, and it is accessible globally, okay, except if there is a new value element. Okay. Oh, yeah, so this should work. Okay, so this is a new thing we learned. Okay, we can create a global variable from inside a function and it is accessible globally, except if there is new value assignment. If there is new value assignment is happening, what it will take? It will take that new value, or else it will again come back to the global value. Okay, so I think we are good. Okay, that is new concept. Again, now if you see one more concept over here, so let's say a equal to 10. Okay, I'm defining f1 equal to a equal to some 100. Okay, and I am printing a. Okay, that's fine, right? And if I call f1, what it will print? It will print. Let me print this also. Okay, initially it is printing a, and inside the function it is printing 100. Okay, that's fine. But same variable I'm using. Okay, but now my task is, okay, my task is I want to print this variable also inside this function. Okay, I want to assign a new value also to this function. In the same time, I want to also print this function. Okay, are you getting? Here I am declaring a some value. This is global. Listen carefully, this is global. Perfect. Here I am declaring another same a, that means same with the same name. Now this is local. Okay, I think this also we understood till now. Okay, local. That's fine. If I print, it is printing 10 global 10 local 100. That's fine. But I also want to see the global value of a inside the function. Okay. I want to see the what is the, if I just print a over here, what it is printing? It is printing 100. Okay. That is local value which I'm defining. Okay. But I just want to see, hey, what is the actual value of a globally, not locally. Okay, but at the same time I also want to define a, because if I don't define, obviously I will get the value of a 10, that is global. Okay, no, but my requirement is I want to define a because I want to use it. But the problem here is if I define a, it will become local, and if I print it, I'm getting 100, and that 100 is local 100. Okay, but my point here is I want to define a which is becoming a local a. At the same time, I also want to see the global value of a, that means this 10, but inside this function. Okay, so in that scenario you can go by this code. Okay, you need to use, okay, you need to use the keyword globals. Okay, and you need to give a function, and inside this you need to call which variable you want to go for a. Okay, so I'm saying, hey, give me the global value of a. Okay, now if you see a is 10, the global value. This a is 100 because value is getting assigned. Okay, this is 100. Okay, but here in this step I'm also printing the global value of a inside the function. I can also see what is the global value of a, not the local. For that you need to say global and give it as a function. Okay, and inside that just give the variable you want to see the global value. Okay, fine guys, is this clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, so there is one more point we have added now, that is if you create a local variable, still wanna see its global value, go for this globals, and inside that give the variable name. Okay, variable name. Fine. So this is one more point, important point. Okay, that is fine. Okay, I hope we are good with this. Next thing is, next thing is you have something called as, okay, we have something called as uh yeah, so we will see an important point over here. Okay, now let's just try to see something called as nested function. Okay, let's see something called as nested function. Okay, so now what will happen here is, see what is nested function. So if I create a function, okay, for example define first, okay, inside that I'm printing, after that define second, okay, here I'm printing second. Okay, and now I'm calling first and second. Okay, now tell me guys, what will be the output? Guess first. Come on guys, come on. Guess the output. Simple, two functions I have defined, I'm calling them, what will be the output?
Seconds.
Huh?
First, second.
First, second.
Sorry, first, second, first, second.
First, second.
Nine. Column, yeah. Mm,
Okay, we'll see. See, you got an error. Okay, it is saying second is not defined. Okay, so this is an important observation you need to do. You might think, hey, I've defined the function first, I've defined the function second, and I'm calling both functions first and second. Okay, but you are getting an error. Simple error, straightforward. Because here these are not simple functions, these are nested functions. Okay, these are nested functions. Okay, so when you are creating a function inside another function, okay, that function scope will be only inside the parent function. Okay, now this is, if you call this as child function, okay, and this is parent function. Okay, the scope of this child function will be inside this parent function. That means you can call this child inside the parent only, not outside that family. Okay, so that's why you are having first is not a child function, it is a parent. That means it's a normal function of what we are writing. If you are trying to call that, that's fine, it is printing. Okay, it's printing, it will print. Okay, but the moment we need to sing second, the interpreter doesn't know what is second, because that function is not freely available, it is inside another function. Okay, so it is inside another function, so it can call only from that function. Okay, so now I can say okay, so okay, so now when I'm printing first, it is entering, it is printing, and after that I'm defining second, I'm calling second inside this first function. I'm calling child from parent function. Okay, then it will enter here, then it is printing second. Okay, so when you're creating a nested function, that nested function should be called inside the parent function. Okay, if you try to access it from outside the function, okay, if you try to access it from outside the function, nested function, it will give an error. Okay, so this is one more point, right? In nested function, the child function can be called only from parent function. Okay, so this is one more point. Cool. Now there is one more point, important point, right? See, we have covered this concept. So when we can only use global variable inside the function but not modify. Changing will also affect. Local variable can be accessed only inside the function, correct? Nested function can be called outside the function containing it does not define. Okay, fine. Changing the value of a global will affect the outside the function. Okay, fine. Now we'll see. Correct. So now we are going to see one more important point. Okay, so when we create a variable inside a function, it is local by default. Okay, when we define a variable outside the function, it is global by default. You don't want to use the global keyword again. When we use a global keyword to write and okay to read and write a function, use of global variable outside a function has no effect. Okay, so fine. So we are going to see one more concept over here. Okay, yeah. So for example, do I have that example? Okay, fine. So let me try to show it here on. Okay, so if I yeah, so let me call first and let me call second, and yeah, so if I global variable, sorry, if I say global num, okay, and let me say 100. Okay, if I say it is num. Okay, now here also I'm printing num. Okay, I'm printing here also num. Okay, now can you guess what will be the output? In this, see, it's similar to the same thing we have discussed, but only thing is we are having a nested function over here. Okay, so over here, can you just guess like what could be the output? Okay, fine, let's see if okay, so it's becoming global, so obviously it will be 100, 100 and 100. Okay, so if I do it over here, okay, if I do it over here, one more num equal to 200, so it will be 100, 200, 100. Okay, now if I just comment it out over here, okay, and if I say global num, okay, if I say global num, okay, and print outside second. Okay, so here if you see, I will show you it. Yeah, see, try to observe here. So when I'm saying here it is num equal to 100, okay, and after that inside the nested function I'm creating it as a what I'm creating declaring it as a global. Okay, now what is happening here? Now num is becoming 200. Okay, num is becoming 200. So if I print num, it is becoming 200. But once it is coming outside, it is having the value what? It is having the value 100. Why? Why it is having 100? Because this print is in the scope of, let me ask you one question. This print statement is in the scope of which function? Is it in the function first or function second?
First function.
First. Okay. Now, is there any value assignment happening in the scope of first function?
Yeah, number equal to 100.
Num equal to 100. Okay. So that's why even though it is global, the moment it comes out of this function, that means at 10, line number 10, it is function second is ending. So it is coming outside, right? After that, when it is seeing here, the num, there is function assignment, it is happening over here. Okay. So that's why it will again go back to what? Go back to 100. That's why it's printing 100. Okay. But coming completely outside here, outside the function first, there is no num is getting value assigned, no value is getting assigned to num. So then what value it should take global value. Agree? Now what is the global value? 200. Yes. So now if you understood the concept, can you guys tell me? Okay. Yeah. So let me, so I want this, so because we are done with the concept, so I want everybody to answer so that I will understand how well you understood the concept. Okay, so you can put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself, but I want everybody to answer. Okay, because I will know like where you guys did not understand. Okay, so now if I say this is 1000, okay, and if I say this is 100, and if I say this is global, okay, right. So fine. So if I run this, what will be the output? Come on, guys. Fast.
1,000, 100, 200, 100, 200.
Wait, 1000, 100, 200.
100, 200.
Okay, this is mega now. Okay. Okay, 1000, 100, 200, 100, 200. Okay, Karthik is also saying same thing. Any answer from Shirisha? No, no answer. Okay,
Yes.
same. Okay, so let me print. Perfect. So 100, 1000, 200, 100, 200. Okay, great guys. Thanks. You saved me. Now, if I comment this over here, okay, and put it over here, okay, and if I comment this now,
1000,
hmm,
1,100.
hmm,
Again 100.
Mm.
Again 100.
Mm.
It is outside global.
That's all.
One and last one is 100.
Again 100.
Last one is 100 because that is an outside and we are acting as a global.
Mm-hmm. No, what was the last one?
Yeah, last one is 100. I'm
Mm.
thinking about the one.
Meghana, do you agree?
Yes, sir.
No, only 4, or will there be one more value?
One is 100.
Last one 100.
You mean last one means I should write 100 here? Okay.
100.
Yes.
That's all. 1,100, 1,400s.
Yeah, but I'm sorry.
But still anything it will print, Karthik? Or do you have any doubts inside this?
Yeah, I have doubts inside. Total we have one, two, three, four,
Okay.
five
Meghna,
prints.
are you clear? Are you confident with this answer? No, if you're confident, you tell you're confident. So if Karthik is having doubts, it's his doubts. If you're confident, you just tell.
Yes, I'm confident this is the answer.
Okay, I think error at second. Sirisha is saying error at second. Which second? No, don't tell second. Tell me line number. Always tell error with line numbers. 11. Okay. Okay. Print. I am second. Num. Why? Why?
Uh,
Why it will give error, Sirisha? Tell me. Because you are saying there is no value assigned. Okay. We'll see.
yeah, I mean within the second function.
Yeah. So as you can see, 1,000, 100. That is perfect, Meghana. So yeah. So when you're confident, you should. Yeah. No, but Sirisha, you understood. But why did you think it's error? You can see here global variable, right? So when you're having global variable, so obviously even if there is nothing defined inside this also, okay, still you will get some value. It will take the global value, right? Right. So yeah, can we continue for 5 to 10 minutes, guys? We have just one more concept, that's it.
It's second.
Yeah, okay. So here just if I am curious whether you will tell this or not. So if I just do this, okay, if I just do this, okay, tell me guys, now what will be the value? I'll do this, okay. Yeah, okay. Or I think if it is, if Python interpreter will try to cheat us, so let's not give it a chance, okay. I'm creating as a new variable. Okay, perfect. Now just tell me guys what it will print. Yeah, but before that, yeah, Karthik, was your doubt clear earlier? Did you understand that? You said some doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, guys, please try to attempt this.
Error.
Error. Okay, correct. Because inside the
So,
function, yeah, inside the function, num is not defined, right? Num is not defined, so obviously it cannot do. Okay, but if I do this, you'll get some value. Okay, so it is 100. After that, inside this global, I'm defining it as 200, so that's why it will be 200 here. But once it is coming outside, yeah, so it's coming outside, it is still 200. Okay, so this is important point. Okay, see, here it is 1,000, that is 1,000. After that, inside the first, okay, inside the first, when it is, see this observe carefully. Okay, this Okay. Oh, okay. I did not print this, right? Okay, let me print this. Okay. See. Oh, sorry. This should be now. Okay. See carefully. See, initially it is printing this. Okay, that is fine. But observe carefully. This print statement and this print statement both are in the scope of first function. Okay. But if you see, I am first is printing 1000. Okay, I am first is printing 1000, but outside second is printing 200. Okay, that difference you should observe. Why? Because if you see, initially printing 1000, that is perfect. After that it is entering here. Here no value is getting assigned here till this point. So that's why it will take the what it will take the this value whatever it is available. So that's why it's printing I am first 1000. Okay, that is also perfect. After that, if you see, next it is going to line number 13. The flow will be line number 13, right? Not 14, 13, right? So in 13, what's happening? The control is going over here. Second function is getting called. Inside that, it is num is suddenly becoming global. Okay. Now when it became global, so num is 200. So that's why it's printing I am second 200. Okay. I am second 200. Okay. That's fine. Now that is fine. Now num became 200. Now with the 200 value only, it is coming out of this 13th line. Okay, now it is coming to 14th. Now 14th is in the scope of what? 14th is in the scope of first function. Okay, 14th is in the scope of first function. Okay, but is there any value that is getting assigned in the scope of first function for num? No, there is no value is getting assigned. So as I said, if no value is getting assigned, obviously it should take the global value. Now, what is global? Global is not 1000. Global is 200 because some change is happening inside this function. So that same 200 also you will have it over here. Okay, because in scope of first function there is no value getting assigned. So outside second you will also print 200. Okay, and after that will come outside, it will print 200. Okay, that is the important thing you should make sure you understood. Just if some, but in the scope of this first function, if some value is getting assigned 100. Okay, so now this outside second should become, sorry, it should be now, this outside second should become 100. Okay, because after only this global will work inside this function, that is 200, even though it is global. But outside that, this in this print always should check this statement is belonging to which function, and in that scope is there any value assignment is happening. Okay, so here 14th line number 14, this print is belonging to this function first, and in this scope of this function there is some value getting assigned. Okay, 100. So even though when the value is getting assigned, this global will not have any power influence on that, so it will take the value of 200. Okay, but after coming out of that, okay, after coming out of that, if you try to print this, then it will become 200. That value only, it will become 200. Okay, so that is a concept I want you to understand. Okay, and if I say, okay, so you can also use it outside. Outside, as I said, outside you don't need to specifically mention it as global because it will be anyhow global. Okay, so that's fine, guys. So that is one concept. So there is like just one more concept we have. So it's called a simple function called as recursive function. Okay, so what is recursive function? So a function calling itself is called recursive function. Okay, function calling itself is called recursive function, right? So a simple example could be obviously a factorial, right? So what you can do here is, oh, sorry, factorial example. So example of factorial of 3 would be what? 3 into factorial of 2. Okay, okay, and this factorial of 2 will be factorial of 2 into this, right? So all this happens. Okay, but now you can just write it as factorial of n. Okay, factorial of n equal to, you can simply say n into factorial of n minus 1. Okay, so this is a function which you have. Okay, and you can have it as, now if I say factorial 1, should not give an error. Mistake I am done here. Okay, so first we need to, okay, sorry, I not define the function, right? Okay, so if I just say define factorial of n, if n, for example, if I say if n equal to 0, factorial 1 equal to 1, result equal to 1. Okay, else result equal to n into, again, factorial of n minus 1. Okay, so and then we are going to return result. Okay, so here now, yeah, so this is a function. Now here I can just go for factorial of 3. Okay, so factorial of 3 is obviously 63 into 2 into 6. Okay, factorial of 5 into is equal to 120. Why? So 5, it goes here, so the value is 5. Okay, it is not equal to 0, it will not enter, else result equal to n into factorial of n minus 1. So here n is what? 5. So 5 into, now this value factorial n minus 1, I don't have this factorial of n minus 1. What will happen? This will again call, see, this will again call this n minus 1 is again a function. So factorial of n is what? N is a parameter. Observe, n is a parameter. Inside this parameter we can give anything. You can give n minus 1, anything. So here n equal to 5, but here this function factorial is again, it is calling this function. Okay, this here only we are calling this function. That means what? Here it will go and call this function. Now but what with what I am calling? I'm calling with n minus 1, 4. So this will be again n into, that means 4 into, again it is calling this function. Okay, so here it will be 5 into factorial of 5 minus 1, 4. Now 5 minus 1, 4 is what? Factorial of 4, again it will come here, that means this. So again it will say, now this will become 4 into this part. Okay, 5 is already there, 4 into, again 4 minus 1, 3. 4 into factorial of 3. Now factorial of 3 means what? The moment when you say function name and some value, it will again go and call this with what? 3 minus 1. So it will become 3 into factorial of 2. Like that, it will print 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into, it will print. Okay, it's just calling function repeatedly. So wherever you see factorial of some value, so it will directly trigger it. Again, it will trigger. Okay, internally it will keep on triggering till it will reach 1. The moment it reach 1, sorry, it reaches 0. So result will be 1. So right, so sorry, if it is 0, it will go here, or else it will, what it will do, it will keep on iterating where it will find 1. So 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, so that is simple example of factorial, a small recursive example. Okay, so I will not use it mostly, but just to let you know. Okay, but there is just one more last concept for today, is something called as, okay, small concept, it's called function aliasing. Okay, so it's called simple concept function aliasing. Okay, that means for giving another name to another function. Okay, for example, if I say function, simple function follow function name. Okay, print good morning. Okay, name. Okay, this is small function. Okay, now if I just call hello. Okay, uh, srk. Okay, so good morning srk. Okay, so it's printing, this is same thing. But now what I can do is, I can also say greet a new function, new variable. I can just give this function. Okay, I can just do that. I can just put this function into a new variable. Okay, hello, I'm putting it into greet. Now greet will also act like function. Okay, so now if I say greet of srk, Okay, first I enter on this. Okay, so now you can see I'm passing to greet is also, it is acting as a function, but I did not define any greet function. Okay, where is greet function? No. So it means what? You can create a function, and also you can assign the whole function to a variable, so that that variable will also act like a function. Okay, same function. So you can pass a parameter and it can also give you the value. Fine. Is this clear, guys? Okay. And if you want to see the uh I would say the ID, the memory locations, these will be, this would be actually same. Okay, so it's like actually creating a new variable. Okay, it's actually creating a variable. Why? Because everything in Python is an object. Okay, we'll see that later, but everything, so this also object, this also, everything is an object. So that's why you are just this both will, these two objects are going to store the same memory location. See, the same memory location. Okay, so that is regarding the function aliasing. Okay, but now there is, if you see, the final point before we leave today is one small point. So if I say there's a difference. So if I say f1 equal to f2 is different from f1, sorry, f1 equal to f2 is different from f1 equal to f2 of this. Okay, see, these two are different. Okay, for example, you have this function hello greet. Okay, so it's saying greet equal to hello is different from saying greet equal to hello. Okay, this hello. Okay, be very careful. Okay, so here in the first step, what we are doing in the first step, when I do, it is actually creating this greet will also act like a function. Okay, so just now we have seen, when I use this. Okay, so let's say I'm returning, okay, I'm returning some word as perfect session. Okay, I'm returning this hello is returning that. Okay, so let's see, right? So now if I do this, okay, if I do this, if I just do this, that means I'm creating greet is also will also work as a function. So if I just say srk, it is returning perfect, it is returning perfect session, and it is printing this. Okay, that is what this is doing. Okay, but instead of doing this, okay, instead of doing this, if I do this, okay, if I do this, okay, so that means what? I'm calling function. Okay, I'm calling function. So now what will be greet? What will be greet? Greet will be perfect session. Okay, see, whether you guys are able to understand this, just to make sure when you are doing this. So this is just, we are providing another name to the function hello. Okay, now greet acts as, okay, but in this scenario, okay, in this scenario, when I'm doing this, you are calling the hello function and return value will be stored in greet. Okay, now greet is not a variable, it's not a function. Okay, so when you are doing this, it is just creating it, you are also making greet also act like a function. Okay, but when we are doing this, this is the normal thing which you are doing from past 2 days, right? So this is, you are actually calling the function, and whatever this function returns, okay, that will be stored inside this greet. Okay, is this difference clear, guys?
Yeah, it means like first case is uh, what creating alias, like alias
Correct.
string. Second one is assignment.
Correct. Yeah, first is just, instead of hello, you can greet is also same function, but here this is calling the function. Okay, here we are not calling, it is just creating one more variable. Okay, instead of hello we can use greet, just like I have shown, but here it is actually calling the function. It is similar, same thing, how you can call the function, and that value will be stored over here. Is this clear, guys? Meghana, is this clear, Sirisha?
Yes, sir, clear.
Perfect. So that's all I have today to cover. So this is with this we can actually conclude functions, because we are covered all that is possible to cover. So right from functions to all its parameters, return values, global variable, local variable, right, and nested functions, recursive functions, right, and the function aliasing and function calling. So few other concepts, right? So what all in the scope of functions concept. So we think we covered pretty much of those, right? So you can, I strongly recommend for you guys to go through today's class. Okay, so before it gets confused, so go through today's class and try to make a notes, right, so that you are good with the concepts. Okay, so fine, if there are no doubts, that's all for today. But tomorrow we are going to have a class, as I said, tomorrow Saturday, so we'll take class on Saturday also, so that we can be on track, right? So Sirisha, we have a class tomorrow, so don't miss the class, right? Tomorrow we are going to cover some concept called as, we are going to see something called as modules and packages, libraries, and how you can create that and how you can play with that. Okay, so we are going to do that. Fine. Fine, guys. If there are no doubts, that's all for today. Let's meet tomorrow.